record it. All right, let me see. Thanks, guys. Thanks for jumping on tonight. Leverage Nation Mastermind. This is our first one. And once again, nobody's selling anything. We're not here for that. We're not here to monetize off of each other right now. If that happens, if business happens, right? We're all business folks here. And I think that there's some great folks on the call that can connect and make some things happen. I definitely see that. I see quite a few different names on the call tonight. And of course, let me switch the screen up. There we go. Mostly everybody I know. Isaac, how you doing, Isaac?
Hey, how you doing? I'm pretty good.
I'm good, man. I spoke to your dad earlier. He had messaged me and said he would really wanted you to jump on the call. So I'm glad you made it.
Yes, sir. I'm on my phone really quick because I'm not home, but I'm almost home, so I'm gonna probably hop on and
Okay.
turn on my camera in a bit.
Yeah, that's cool, brother. That's cool. Listen in, and then when you can jump on the camera, that'd be great because it helps everybody connect. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
sir.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Isaac.
Yes, sir.
So what I would like to do is, like I said, I'll tell you guys a little bit about myself, and then we'll just go through. Since there's 9 of us on the call, we'll give a little bit of feedback on who we are and how we relate in business, and then I think you'll be able to identify with folks as we're communicating and talking, and you'll see the value behind which each person provides and each person has, right? So as I mentioned myself, Jacob Davis, I'm a dedicated husband, father, Christian man. I love my children, I love my wife, and I love business. I love branding and entrepreneurship, all of those things in different orders, right? But at the end of the day, we've built some cool brands and had a lot of fun. Everything from the biker world. I built a brand that afforded me the opportunity to land in a magazine, a California magazine, and that was really cool. And my kids think I'm, the best, right? Because of that, like, popping in a magazine. And but at the end of the day, it was the cool part of that was, I built that brand let me see, about 14 years ago, probably I started, and just hand-to-hand combat, just sales, selling at every event I could. So when you guys hear me talk about different things and branding, and we talk about that stuff here on this group, that's where I come from. My background is not, I don't have the huge knowledge that some of y'all probably do when it comes to using landing pages and click funnels, and I know about all that stuff, but that's not my forte, right? Like my style is like, let's get belly to belly, like let's meet people, let's connect, like let's do business to business type of stuff. So that's why I love this here, man. It's 10 folks on the call, being able to connect with each other and have some of that just true, authentic, like man, what sucked, like what was good, you know what I mean? Like, and we can learn from each other. So I'll go through the call, and then if you just want to drop, who you are, what you do, and we'll start with Patrick over there in that corner.
Hey, how we doing? So I am Patrick Schaefer. I am a martial arts instructor here in San Antonio. I focus on giving private lessons to individuals and families at a lower cost compared to like a lot of the franchises in the area. I've been doing martial arts for well over 30 years, trained in 11 different styles, hold a black belt in 3 different styles. Got 8 years of military, 6 years of bouncing security, and what else? 2 years of a correction officer under my belt there, plus a bevy of just about any other thing you can do.
Very cool. Very cool. And Patrick, so your self-defense stuff is like mobile, right? So just so the guys know on the call, everybody on the call, I mean, you actually will go to either to their home or to their business. I know we talked about doing some stuff at Redbird Realty, for the
Absolutely.
agents, before you had a procedure that set you back a little bit, but
Almost back.
yeah, man. I mean, you're doing way more than I was expecting to see you doing right away, but okay, very cool, very cool. All right, Jason.
Hey man, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I got this. This isn't the setup that I'm used to, so
Yeah.
no. So yeah, I'm Jason Setzer. I have I've been an entrepreneur since elementary school. I was always just doing stuff. I was telling my girlfriend the other day, it was funny. It just came to me. I used to I used to save my allowance when I would get one. I would get an allowance sometimes, and when I did, I would save it
Yeah.
and I would put it in this cough drop box, and then I would go buy different shit that I could sell at school,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so anyways, I've been my main bread and butter right now is I own a drafting company, and we draw blueprints specifically for self-storage.
Yeah.
I've had I do a podcast, local talent. So we have actually a few podcasts that kind of got out of hand in a hurry, but I always got to stay busy. I got to keep doing stuff. I got to keep moving. And so like 2018 was a real, kick in the nuts for me.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen in business and whatever. And I just kind of like, I was able to kind of just pull back and kind of reevaluate what means what to me, and so like, I used to work 80-hour weeks for my business and gladly do it and love doing it. And then, so I don't know, it was kind of 2018. I was just like, all right, let's see what else is in there. So anyways, I have a podcast. I have a printing company. I have, I don't know. I used to sell rats. I used to breed and sell rats, for snake
Wow.
owners. And I can't stand snakes and I can't stand rats, but dude started talking about dollars and cents, and I was like, I can do this, So, anyways, that's a little bit about me. Entrepreneur to the end, I guess.
Very cool. Thank you, Jason. And guys, Jason has a very cool podcast. Give him the plug, Jason. What's the podcast on YouTube?
Local Talent is the name of the channel. But I have we have 3 podcasts right now under Local Talent. One is Local Business. That's the entrepreneur show that I interview different entrepreneurs. We have Local Politics with my good friend Kevin Haddis. And then we just started another one called Local Health with a nurse practitioner, Sean Dittman, out of Cibolo. And it's a blast. I mean, it ain't making any money, but God, it's so much fun. And I didn't think it would be. It was just like, I'm kind of an introvert by nature. And so it's still, I don't know. I don't mind being, on, recorded or whatever, but man, I tell you, just getting to know entrepreneurs and what does it for them and what works and what doesn't work. I mean, Jacob, you were on the show. It was, I just enjoyed it. It doesn't even matter what the subject is about. It could be about solar. I had an esthetician, makeup lady on my show. I don't care what it is. It's just, I love seeing how people get fired up about whatever it is that fires them up. And then you can draw parallels with everything. It's like, just because I'm in construction and you're in makeup doesn't mean that building a business doesn't have the same steps to it,
Right.
And so it's just fascinating to me. So I love that. I love that stuff. So
yeah, man. It's good. Yeah, thanks, Jason. Brian Montoya.
What's happening, man? Appreciate you having me on to join this mastermind, dude. It's always good to talk to like-minded folks. So my name's Brian Montoya. I am an insurance agent. I've had an insurance agency here in San Antonio for 3 years now, a little over 3 years. Been in insurance for about 20 some years. My background's in marketing, so even though I do insurance, that's kind of the reason why I opened the agency, was because I wanted to, or I had been marketing for other agents, kind of growing their agency. Figured it was kind of an easy thing to do, saw that I could just do it for myself. And that's kind of what started that. I mean, with the background, and like I said, just kind of getting into marketing. I did a lot of years at USA doing insurance while I got my marketing degree. And during that time, there was no opportunity to really move into a marketing position because I was kind of funneled into the insurance side of stuff. And so once I ventured out is when I kind of spread into some of this stuff more. And I mean, that's my passion, man. I love being able to get people in the door, being able to just see a business grow. I mean, with minimal cost and maximum effort. You know what I'm saying? Like there's ways to go about like all that stuff. And when you find your niche, or when you find your sphere of influence and the people that are going to do business, creating value for them, helping them grow their business, and then growing yours in return is pretty awesome, man. So that's my biggest thing, man. And so joining these things and talking with people like y'all is it's good, because like you said, I mean, you hear the tales from everybody else. Once you hear how somebody else grew their business, I agree with Jason that there's steps in place. I mean, you're gonna go through the same steps. I mean, it doesn't matter what the product is. It's a customer business, customer centric. service centric, and you know, kind of doing those things and putting in the legwork kind of does what it needs to do on the back end. You know, you kind of see the business grow there.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate it, Brian. Thanks for jumping on, man.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Philip.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I won't talk about rats or snakes. I don't like them either. So,
man, I want nothing to do with,
nope,
with
I
those,
mean,
those two.
I'm a snake
other
guy.
stuff I can handle it,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I'm Philip Garza. A little about me, background. I'm from San Antonio. Grew up on the west side of San Antonio. Went to John F. Kennedy. At the time I was young and dumb and just looking for high speed, low drag life. So I joined the military, went into the Marine Corps, did a tour out there, California, Okinawa, and it was all about just travel and experience. But I grew up in a family, you know, my father was an entrepreneur. I didn't know that word or term, but you know, he had his own businesses, multiple. Growing up, I helped him in those businesses. But you know, I took off and essentially went into a corporate culture, you know, in the military. It's a corporate culture, their structure. I was comfortable in that. I got out to go to get my information technology degree, got into computers really heavy. I loved it, still do. I have had a whole career in corporate IT, supporting medium enterprise kind of clients here in San Antonio and Texas, all over city government. With their servers, network, in you know, just making sure everything works, computers work. But that itch of being an entrepreneur and owning a business and not just working to pay somebody else's dream. I started to do side things, and I got into real estate. So got into real estate, became an investor on the side, and then it did well enough to where I was like, you know what, no more boss. I'm gonna be my own boss.
Yeah.
And it kind of got into the investor side of owning a company, but I missed IT, so I opened an IT company as well. So I'm a full-fledged entrepreneur, business owner, doing what I love on both ends, you know, with helping small business, but I'm focused on small business because there's a big gap in San Antonio and Bexar County. Who are small business owners, just don't know. They think it's expensive to get quality IT support, computer support, but there isn't. I want to try to fill that gap best I can, helping small business owners with their technology, and then I still do the real estate, and I have other business ventures as well. But it's all a small business, family business. But that's a little bit about me, and I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody here.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Philip.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother. So, Elias.
Yes, sir. How's everyone doing tonight? Thank you
Good.
for the invite.
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Elias. I own a small remodeling company here in San Antonio. I've been doing that for all my life, you know, in one form or another, framing, drywall painting. So since 2011, we were doing subcontract work for other GCs, mostly restoration, insurance restoration work is what we did. And then in 2020, we started, you know, little by little getting out from underneath some of the other GCs, getting our own work. Started learning about marketing and, and funnels and all that stuff. And man, that's a whole separate world. But COVID came, we slowed down, and then 2022, I always wanted to get into real estate. We finally said, hey, my brother and I said, let's do it. You know, we bought our first house, flipped it. We've done 12 since then in the last year and a half. We've been able to hold one, and we got 2 on the market right now that aren't selling as quickly as we'd like to, and for the price that we want to. So we'll probably end up keeping those as rentals or Airbnb or something. So, but yeah, you know, just getting into that different aspect of it. But you know, real estate, I enjoy it. I think that's where I want to be, and we're going to keep plugging away at that. See what we can do.
Very cool. Thank you, Elias. Appreciate you.
Yes,
Thanks for jumping on. Donnell.
Hey, JK, everybody. Thank you again for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. I grew up in the military, from grandparents down to myself. Very structured. No entrepreneurs in my blood, so I'm one of the first to jump into it. So it's been a learning experience for the last 3 years now. I was a medic in the military, moved all over the place. No need to go into all the details. Lots of deployments. Finished up here at Fort Sam as an instructor, and then jumped into aviation because I always wanted to do two things as a kid: own my own motorcycle and fly my own plane, or fly a plane, right? Eventually fly my own plane. And had a couple of motorcycles growing up in the military, and got into flying planes. So did that for a few years, and again, always working for someone else, building their dreams, right? So I was like, look, I need something more. I need more than this out of life, and something I can leave for my children, build a legacy. Right. So here I am. I'm in payment services. What I do is I help businesses out by either jumping into their current processes, either whether they're using online payments for subscriptions and things of that nature, or bringing devices in to take payments in person or on the road. There's 100 guys out here that do what I do, just like all of us in this room. Everybody does what they do, and there's many of us out there. So it's all about this right here. I love learning from you all, and I'm here to take notes and see what I can get from these masterminds. Hopefully contribute as well.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Well, appreciate you. Thanks for jumping on, Donnell.
Yeah, no problem.
Gabe, tell us a little bit, Gabe.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, so first off, I just want to say this is amazing, just being around people that think like me. Honestly, I didn't know everybody had all these side business ventures and they were doing all these cool things. And I was like, I'm the only one that wants to go do and make a business out of this, out of that, out of that. And it's cool to see that people have that same mindset as me.
Yeah.
I met Jacob and a lot of people here through Redbird Realty, because I'm a real estate agent with Redbird. But my true passion lies with our embroidery business that we started about 2 years ago. So my wife actually made a bet with me one day. We were at the flea market, and I said, I want all like $300 worth of records. And she's like, okay, I'll let you buy these $300 worth of records if you buy me an embroidery machine. Yeah. And I'm like, keep thinking, yeah, sure, whatever. It's an embroidery machine. So I bought my $300 record. And a month later, she called me up on it. She's like, hey, you remember that bet I made with you? I was like, what bet? She's like, yeah, you're supposed to get me an embroidery machine now. I'm like, oh, great. So we went down to like the brother embroidery machine place here in San Antonio. And we walked in, and a sales rep comes to us and starts showing us all the machines. And I'm like, oh my God, these things are expensive. For him, like starting at like $400 all the way to like $20,000. And I'm like, you know what? Like, my wife's passionate about this. I heard embroidery is pretty good business to get into. Like, I've got some education and some background in business. Let's start an embroidery business. And that's kind of how that started. And we're 2 years in, and we're constantly learning every single day. And I just enjoy growing this business and meeting new people all day, every day.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gabe. I appreciate you for jumping on tonight, man. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah. Let me see, who do we have over here? So it's not Cassie, it's actually Alex. I think it probably registered under his wife's name, but Alex, are you able to jump on? I know you were in the car. Okay, awesome. Alex,
yeah, sorry about that.
It's all good, bro. Talk to us, man.
So yeah, no, I definitely appreciate y'all just having me on, and I do apologize how to take care of some things, but no, when it comes to just hearing all y'all stories is amazing. It definitely something I needed to hear, because not every day is easy, and some days I definitely think, what am I doing? Like is this really working? Am I doing the right thing? Did I make the right decision? Because sometimes some days are hard, but it's really it definitely gives me a lot more it fuels my fire more now to hear everybody's story and to see, you know, how they got started, where they got started, and what brought them to where they're at right now. And so with us, you know, we've been doing credit repair for about 4 years, but we just, you know, like anybody, like most people, just got to a point where we thought, you know what, we could do this on our own. There's something that we could do differently, and in some cases do better, and really kind of change the perception of what credit repair is, because unfortunately with credit repair, it does have a bad reputation. So we're definitely trying to do our best to change what credit repair is and how it operates and how it's done. But you know, I definitely had my share of different jobs. I actually, out of college, I was a teacher for 8 years. I worked as a computer analyst for 9. I worked as a personal trainer for 3. I actually worked as a paralegal for 1 year. I did personal training for 3 years. So I've done a lot of different things. Just like Jacob, I've had a lot of experiences. But you know, for me, it was all about what is it that I'm supposed to do? What is my calling? And you know, I definitely believe in that saying that goes, not all people who wander are lost. I definitely believe that everything is meant for a reason, and everything I've done up until now in our credit repair business has definitely prepared me to operate and run my own business when it comes to marketing, sales, business development, customer service. But you know, again, I love what we do. I love meeting new people. I love helping people, and it's just a real blessing to be able to, you know, to lay down at night knowing that you're doing everything you can to provide for your family and you know, your clients first, and just try to provide the best quality service that you can. But I do appreciate it.
Very cool, Alex. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for jumping on tonight. I appreciate you. Let me see, Arkayla. Arkayla, are you able to say hello and tell us a little bit about you, what you do? I see Arkayla down there. Well, maybe not. All right. So I've got 2 things. Like I said earlier when we first jumped on, you know, the intention here is just to connect, right? Like, as you guys can see, as everybody can see, we just went down the line, and such a huge variety and such a big difference in backgrounds. And, you know, we got some military folks on. Thank you for your service. We've got, you know, we've done all kinds of things, all of us collectively, right? So I truly believe that at the end of the day, right here, you may get an answer to something that's been bothering you, or something that you maybe wanted and you didn't know where to ask. Like, you didn't know who or where to turn to or what, right? And like Alex said, man, Alex really made a great point to say, like, shit, there's days where this stuff is tough, right? Like, where you're in business and you're like, man, where am I going to get my next client? Where am I going to get my next customer? You know what? Revenue has slowed down. I can tell you specifically, if you're anything in the real estate industry, like realtors, you know, mortgage lenders, inspectors, everybody related to that, right? Like, business is like probably cut in half right now. Like, I mean, our numbers are way down, right? So realtors, you know, if they're new in the industry, like brand new, like right now, they haven't felt the difference yet. But those that were in like a year or 2 ago, you know, that had, like, they were in on the onset when it was really easy to get deals and easy, you know, everybody was buying, right? Interest rates were great. Like, those that were then at that time that are still here today are the ones that are like, oh shit, like, what happened? Well, how did the bottom fall out of this thing, right? Am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Like, they're questioning it, right? But the cool thing is, like I said here, there's such a variety, a wealth of differences here, and techniques and methods and different things that have worked, that I think we can all build off of that. So tonight, what I'm going to do is just ask 2 things. So the first one that I would like to do is, if y'all could share with the group what has worked for you, right? Like, what has worked for you in business? Like, just think back into the one thing that you say, you know what, man, that thing worked for me. Like, because somebody here could benefit from that, right? Or number two, the second question is, you may be like, shit, man, I've been in business and I don't know what's worked for me. Like, I'm paying the bills, I'm here, like I'm transacting. I don't know what has worked for me, but I got this freaking question that's been bothering me. Hopefully somebody here can provide me some value on that question, right? So I hope it's real clear. It's one of two things, guys. Drop a value bomb, like, man, this has really worked for me. And then maybe folks will find some benefit from that and can take that and run with it. Or, you know what? Scrap that idea. What for me, my burning issue today is, like, I'm stuck and I have this burning question. So either way, you guys y'all can step up to either one of those. You know, I'll go first, just to give y'all, a point of starting, right? So for me, the like I mentioned, the branding is what I love the most, just the whole music of it all. Like music has so many different like notes and rhythms and beats and so many different things, right? Branding is the same thing, but the number one element to all of it, which you guys I'm sure have seen, I keep posting stuff, right, is consistency. Like, it's going to take a minute. Like, it's going to take time, when you're building a brand. And, one of the biggest things I think today is that people don't realize, sometimes we don't realize this, that we like, and I say we because we're all in the same boat. We like to transact with people. Like 73% of folks that answered a recent study said they would rather transact with somebody that has a personal brand that they can relate to, right? That they see and they can kind of get a good feel from them, right? So at the end of the day, people want to transact with people, not businesses. So if you think about it in this manner, Schneike, right? And I say that so I don't get in trouble because I don't know if they're going to see this this video, right? But why were they so successful, or even have they been so successful? Because they attach a person to it, right? They've attached people to their brand, and by attaching people to their brand, everybody loves Jordan, right? Like, I mean, shit, that's by my standards, he's the best player ever to grace the courts. For me, right? Now, my son would have a difference of opinion. My son's, dad, you're crazy. There's other players that are better than him, but I disagree, man. But that's another story, right? Another time. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that, like, it's very simple. Like, people want to transact with other people. And if we lead with that, I feel I have been more successful. Like, my first brand that I created in the motor clothes world, right? The biker world and all of that stuff. It was not about the name. It wasn't about the name or the brand at all. Like, I created that name. It didn't even exist. Like, it's not even defined in a dictionary. I created it, but I sold the brand on connecting with people. Connecting with people. Every single time I sold a piece of merchandise, I connected with that person, and then they bought. So they bought from me. They weren't buying because of the name. They bought from me because I was the brand at that time. Now, that, like I said, I built that brand about 14 years ago when one of my middle child was born, I think. And it still exists. I got an order just the other night. Somebody was buying some baseball caps. It has an online presence, and I just set it and like forget about it. So I don't push it or anything really anymore, but it's like an auto play, right? It's just there. So if you focus on that, I have felt my best success has been when I do that. When I have made the efforts to connect with people so they connect to me, and then hopefully what I'm offering, they can use. It makes sense to them. They need it, right? And if they don't, it's all good. Like, we'll move on. We still be friends. We'll still be acquaintances or whatever it may be. So would anybody else like to go next? Like I said, what has worked for you? Like, what has you seen super beneficial? Or do you have a question like right now that says, man, you know what? This is a great group. This is the venue. I've needed this place. Let me ask this question. Go for
it. Yeah, no, I definitely, just to piggyback off that, regarding the branding, I think what's worked for me is, having that face presence, or that physical presence, because I think that definitely goes hand in hand with branding. Just me physically, introducing myself, introducing, the company, who I'm with, what I represent. But yeah, definitely, it's been associating me with the company, and I think it's definitely been a huge part of our growth, is the networking. And even though it does take a lot of time, I definitely feel like it's been a real value to our company's growth, getting our name out there, getting our presence, because it all networking and marketing, goes hand in hand with what you're saying, Jacob, with that branding. It all ties together, and by me, people getting to know me and seeing what I personally am about, why we started our company, what our values are, what our company's foundation is, and what we stand for, definitely has been a big help in us establishing who we are as a company, but also has helped get our name out there, because it helps spread the word. Oh, hey, Universal Recovery Consultants, Alex and Casey, they're really good people. They really stand by what they do. They really have their heart is in customer service. It's not about the paycheck. It's not about the money. Yes, it is nice, but I think ultimately what most people get from us meeting us is that we are a service first oriented company. That we definitely try to make sure that we provide quality client service, and always do everything we can to make sure that we put our best foot forward and definitely work hard on our clients' behalf, and not just sign them up and then just get them lost in the mix. That we definitely take a vetted interest in their needs and their goals, and definitely take it to heart, as far as being a family owned and operated company. But I definitely think the networking, the physical networking, has been a big help for us. I definitely am going to make sure that I keep doing that, and just making sure that people associate our company and our brand with our faces.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you, Alex. All right, who'd like to go next?
Thank you, go.
Patrick.
So as far as my business, not a big business whatsoever. To say that I'm successful is not appropriate. However, I'm still in there, still trying. But on the small scale that I do things, what I have seen work for me is my Google business page. 3 of the families that I work with were contacting me through that. Just doing simple Google searches. I'm like, oh, hey, someone here. Another couple of my families I brought with me from another school that was closing down. The branding, I definitely like to piggyback on that for sure. I've only lived here in San Antonio for just over a year now. It was a year last month, but I jumped straight into networking. I found that when I created my logo, I have some logos that have like the name of my business on there, Phoenix Self Defense Solutions. Then I have other ones that just have my Phoenix, like the bird logo with the cross on there. And I've had people come walking across at like social events. It's like, oh, hey, what's that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, that's my business. So that's been pretty cool. So the Google business pages worked because I'm not to a point where I can hire somebody who knows how to adjust algorithms and all that stuff and post for me, and all that. So it's all, everything that I do is done by me and partially my wife.
Gotcha.
On the back end of things. So just finding little things here and there that are kind of seem like they point me in the right direction. Networking's been great for, I've met hundreds of people. Haven't really pulled any business from that yet. Aside from a couple like single things here and there, but nothing ongoing long term. So it's why
would you say you're not successful?
Well, one thing, I've never met another person in the networking that I've done so far that I've never met another martial artist. So that's one thing. I don't think martial arts, that networking anyway is not something that people typically promote in there. A lot of stuff I've seen has been like business to business, and
No,
but for me,
what I specifically what I meant was you started this off with, you'd say, I wouldn't say that I was successful by any stretch. I'm curious why you have that opinion of yourself.
financially speaking, I'm doing my absolute passion. I've been doing martial arts over 30 years and something I've always wanted to do. You know, and I believe that this is something God's guided me to do.
Yeah.
You know, the job that I came down here to work in was a franchise, and I felt like I was selling my soul to work there. I was teaching just garbage stuff, but I was getting 40,000 a year to do it, and I had no skin in the game.
Yeah.
The guy that owned that just closed it out of the blue one day, and then 3 o'clock the next morning, I feel God woke me up and said, "Hey, here's your chance. Go do it." Grab my credit card, bought my LLC through LegalZoom. That is something that is a bad idea. I don't recommend it to anybody. I'm stuck with them now. I can't get rid of them. They're about to charge me here the next month unless I figure out how to represent myself somehow. Bought all my mats, my equipment, and everything, and literally hit the road. Just started going to people's houses that want to do martial arts. And so the big thing, the hold up for me is just really trying to figure out like where I need to plug into to get the word out. Because everybody I talk to at network and stuff, like, "Oh, that's a great idea. Oh my gosh, wow."
Yeah.
Tell somebody about
Hey,
it.
Patrick. Hey, sorry,
Yes.
man. Have you reached out to like schools to do stuff when they set up for like Fall Fest and stuff like that to demo, different things like that? I mean, I see a lot of different martial art like studios doing that, and I would figure somebody that does it from home, man, might have some success in that same area.
I haven't reached out to any schools yet. Still kind of, learning what schools are where. All that.
Well, my son, I don't know where
you
you're at, but my son's school tends to do a lot of that stuff, and they do reach out to the community for like people that want to set up booths and stuff like that. Anything that comes up, man, I'll shoot that over to you. They have one coming up right now that, I mean, it's obviously too late, but they do a few different things like that. The school's off of Bandera and 1604. Again, I don't know exactly where you're at or if that might be something you'd be interested in, but I'll shoot you the info, man, as soon as it comes up next time.
Yeah, for me, like doing events and stuff has been like not really an option because I am fiscally not very successful with this, and this is my only source of income right now. I actually have Indeed up on the computer behind my phone, but yeah, so it's been trying to figure out what I can fund to take risks to go out and get my name out there, and so far there's not a lot I can do. So been kind of relying on word of mouth, but
yeah.
Anyway, it's not for me, but yeah, branding and Google.
So let me ask this question. I'm curious, because I'm not very versed in Google, and maybe somebody on the call or somebody who watches this may have this question, right? Because I have the question. So is Google like a set it and let it do its work? Like, so do you feel people are like the business that you have achieved is because of the search, like, in proximity, like address, location, and that kind of thing? Or is it the niche?
Well, everybody who I've gotten from Google has been pretty local.
Okay.
Not too far of a drive. I mean, most people, San Antonio is an interesting place to drive, so they're looking for something close. Plus, it's going to be in the evening after parents are out of work, kids are out of school, and schools get out here pretty late, from what I've noticed. And just trying to get people places is crazy. So my little tie into the leverage thing is, you don't have to drive. I'll come to you. Let me deal with the traffic.
Yeah, that's right.
Some schools are going to 4-day schools, 4-day weeks. I know Lavernia, which is real far out in the sticks, but they went to 4-day weeks. I think Brian has got a really good point.
Yep.
About reaching out to these guys. I mean, Fall Fest in Universal City, I think it was like $30 for a booth. You know what I mean? And so I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and
Brian.
these guys don't even charge. It's over at and they do a 4-day 4-day school week at their school. So it's the Anne Frank Academy there on Bandera. And they don't have a fee set up for a booth. I mean, they ask that you bring some like candy to pass out and stuff like that. But they
like
try to bring in small business. Yeah, it's something like that for the Fall Fest. And then they have another one that comes up later on in the year that's kind of the same thing. You just kind of bring some treats or something to kind of give out at the booth, and you're good.
And I'll tell you guys now. So there's, 10 of us on the call right now. so one of the agents coordinated a trunk or treat coming up over the next couple days or the next week or so, right? Is that right, Brian? Did you get that flyer? I think.
I did, yeah. I don't remember
So,
exactly the date, but
I mean, it's an excellent opportunity, scoop up some cheap candy, go down to the Dollar General or whatever it is and buy like a shit ton of it, right? The cheap stuff, and bring a little table and print up some flyers and hand out some candy, man, and hand out your flyer with the candy. So all of y'all on the call here, I'll give you the flyer. I'll message it to y'all, and you're welcome. I'll give you the contact person who you coordinate with. And there's no charge for that. Like there's no charge to come out, and it's a trunk or treat. And it's going to be there at Redbird Realty. Like some of the couple of businesses that are local right there is like the 7 to 7 Dental, Freebird Burritos, I think. So they're going to be donating some stuff. A couple of people there. I mean, you guys come set up your deal. Like I said, I'll message y'all the realtor that's in charge of handling that, but there's no cost. And maybe you staple your business cards or some flyers or something to some candy and just hand it out, and go for it.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean that again, I'm doing for my community center here. I'm out here at Valley Ranch over by Alamo Ranch area, and we're doing a trunk or treat Saturday evening, from like 5 to. So we're giving out candies. My family will be there. My kids will probably dress up and we'll be hanging. We're gonna have our car there parked, but I'm gonna have my signage. I'm gonna have a couple of cards and flyers, and we're gonna be giving out candy. That's the goal, but you never know, right?
Yeah.
You never know. Somebody might be interested in what you're offering, and like Patrick, I mean, you have it's a niche, but I think there's places you can. I mean, schools. I mean, just go in the community centers of the Facebook of the community, and you hear a lot of parents. Hey, my kid's here. I don't know what to do with them. Like they want to do stuff with their kids, fill their day when they're not at school, or like when they're homeschooled. I mean, they want to fill their day not just with books and learning. They need a place an activity, right? As something. So there's a niche right there. Kids that are homeschooled, try to
Wear
get
them little bastards out.
Yeah, they want them out of the house for an hour so the mom can go Starbucks or something, right? Like,
yeah.
Like it's
And I have everybody sign a waiver. You can hit your own kids. It's cool.
yeah, I mean, it's allowed. Yeah, but I mean, you could. There's you have to think. You're gonna have to think out of the box, right? You gotta when we're the sole owners and we're wearing all the hats pretty much, at least when we start. Because I've got business I just started, I'm the only guy. I can't turn around and ask for somebody else to go sell it or somebody else to go do it. It's just me, so I gotta get creative, and that's why we're doing I told my wife, sign us up. We're gonna sit out there, hand out probably Tootsie Rolls or cheap stuff. I don't know, but you never know because if you don't show up and you don't go show out, right, you're gonna miss an opportunity, because there's not gonna come into my house and deals aren't coming to my house. They're just not. They're not gonna come to my house while I'm sitting in my house. Because as business owners, we can feel like we're in an island and we get in our comfort zone and we want to just stay comfortable. But no, it's out there. It's in the uncomfortable zones out there and just showing up, because if you don't show up, nothing's gonna happen.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I love that. Thank you, Patrick. Anybody else? Who else would like to go?
Yeah, I don't mind, man. So, and I'll make it quick. My favorite thing and what's worked for me is creating value and really just targeting that market. I have the luxury of being in insurance, so I have commercial, auto, home. But what really kind of gets me, the mundane stuff is the writing the business and doing those quotes and stuff like that. But what I really enjoy doing is finding out where to get the business. So, sitting back thinking, okay, well, how can I create a value to somebody in order for them to, send me that business or to be a business partner with them. So like targeting lenders, that's kind of, a big thing for insurance companies. Lenders send a lot of leads because they're, people buying homes, whatever. Once that kind of does what it's doing right now and dries up, then what are you going to do? If you focused all your marketing and targeted that area, you really don't have anything coming in. So it kind of grinds to a halt. Again, I have the luxury of having a couple of different products that I sell. So, you know, going out and figuring out, okay, well, what do I need to do? Let's target some auto dealerships. Let's kind of get into the auto insurance market. Let's go into commercial insurance, life insurance, health insurance. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different, you know, avenues that I can take. But again, what I like is being able to figure out, okay, well, how do I get into here? So lenders, for example, I mean, I spent an hour a day for the first 3 months that I opened up. I would call these guys, hey, look, I'm really good at what I do. This is what I do. Da, 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 da. I got tons of carriers. I'm going to work really hard. I honestly, man, maybe have gotten one like, we'll consider it. You know, I mean, there was nothing. But when I sat back and thought, there's no value that I'm creating for these guys. You know, I'm sitting there asking them to send me business and grow the business. But what am I doing for them other than taking care of their clients? I mean, there's 1,000 other agents that'll do the same thing. So what I've done was I went back and I said, okay, well, where do they get their business from? They get it from realtors. Okay, well, I can create a value for realtors. I mean, I can come in and I can get clue reports. I can do a whole bunch of stuff to help a realtor grow their business. Once I help that realtor grow their business, then it's a matter of saying, hey, look, once you grow your business, it's already, you know, getting to the point where you're really good at what you're doing. You've probably found a lender that you use, you know, introduce me to them. Tell them that I'm the one that helps you kind of grow on this side. And, you know, see if they'll shoot me over your leads at least. You know, once they get me their leads, we do a good enough job to start getting other stuff from them. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you start showing them the service aspect of it and being able to take care of them and being, you know, top of what you do, you know, you tend to get into that office more and stuff like that. And you're creating a value now. You're having, you know, we do lunch and learns. We kind of bring a bunch of people together so they can kind of network, market, and do business together. And so again, just all about creating value. And so looking at stuff like Patrick, where he's saying, hey, look, you know, I kind of, you know, don't know where to get. I mean, that stuff, I mean, I like that stuff, those challenges right there where it's like, okay, where do I go to get the business? Like, where do I find that stuff? I really enjoy that stuff. So if any of y'all ever want to sit down and kind of brainstorm some of that stuff, I'm more than happy to do it. You know, again, that's really kind of what I want to say one of my strong suits is, you know what I mean? So business just comes. And so just kind of getting back to the question, what's work? Going out there, being around, taking care of people, just really showing yourself. I mean, I don't put on or do anything other than what I, you know, who I am. So I don't pretend to be anybody else. And business just comes. I mean, it really does. You see everything grow, you know, as you know, start getting into these different places and start developing more relationships. And it doesn't happen right away. I think it took me probably about 2 months before I really started seeing the turnaround on, you know, getting in and really targeting some of these markets.
Very cool. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much for sharing and offering to jump on a call with, you know, anybody here that feels like, you know, they'd like to jump on that. Gabe, I think you were up next, Gabe.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah, so I mean, one thing that's worked for us, I mean, we're not from San Antonio, right? So our sphere of influence is all over the United States. But so when we started really connecting with the local community, like Universal City, Cibolo, and my wife made the first connections, right? And she would just go to like these coffees and library events and just start meeting people. And then it just goes back to what you were saying earlier, and everybody's kind of been saying it's all about people and building relationships. But we really started to take off when we started focusing on those relationships and building relationships with people. And then everything else kind of fell into place. That's all I got.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you, Gabe. And that's key, you know, is like not being from San Antonio, like landing here. I think you guys were stationed here, right? And then, you know, you exited the military or still working on that. I can't recall, but, you know, connecting, like now, you know, that's a whole transition, right? Going from being active duty for so many years and then now to being a civilian and then, you know, working for yourself and then, you know, so many variables. So, you know, yeah, how do you connect to folks, right? Like, you know, you mentioned, I know you guys were out this past weekend. Y'all were set up at one of the market days or something. And, you know, sometimes that's what it takes. Like Philip was saying too, you know, is he's setting up for the trunk or treat thing at his neighborhood. You know, sometimes it does take that, like get out there and it's like what I call it, you know, hand-to-hand combat. Like that's my favorite, is like conversating with people, connecting to people, talking to them, like having the conversations. And that goes to like what Alex was saying, the networking, right? That's all of the brand building and everything that goes encompassed in that. Like people got to relate to you. I think about Patrick, like ultimately, Patrick, you are the brand. Like we are all the brand, but you are the brand. Like you're sensei. You know what I mean? Like you're the dude. And so you know, I think that I'm confident that this group right here can help you. I'm confident move past some of that. And I think there's going to be opportunities. I think that there's going to be different things, and that you can network with even just within this group, because everybody provides some element, you know what I mean? And let's say that you set up at a market day or a church festival or some type of event, and you just start having conversations, you know, just talking to people, you know. That's exactly how
those are fun.
Yeah, that's how exactly how I built my first brand, you know. And maybe you split a booth. You know, you may not need a whole 10 by 10 area, right? But you know, maybe you and Alex go half on one, you know, on a $50 booth for a weekend that sets up somewhere, you know. That's something that you can typically they'll allow, you know what I mean? So yeah, very cool. Thank you, Brian, for sharing. Who'd like to go next? Either something that's been working, or a burning question like, man, this is the group, I really believe it.
I got something. I'll go.
Yeah.
So the so there, you know, what works for your business, right? So that's as far as sales, as far as growing your business, is, you know, what type of business you have. So my printing company, the hands down best sales that I ever got from that company was getting out in front of people. Just, you know, like I can't tell you how many times I went and because we were selling real estate signs, you know, along with other things, but you know, getting in front of these, you know, realtors are always in classes or doing something. There's always some sort of event. There's always something going on.
Right.
And for $100, $200 for coffee and donuts or whatever the hell, I can get in front of, you know, 40 people, 50 people, and offer something that they all have to have, you know. But getting in front of people and seeing them eyeball to eyeball for my printing business has been the very best thing to drive sales. And trying now, the flip side of that, the worst thing that happened for that business besides COVID and a divorce was, you know, trying to automate it so that, you know, you don't want to deal with people, right? So it's like, just go to the website, you can order your signs there, you know? And so there's this whole flow of this whole transition with, you know, from the order to getting it printed to getting it, you know, all the steps and everything in between, design, all that stuff. And so there's this workflow that, you know, it can be automated, and there's things that you can do to make it flow better. But the initial sale is always eyeball to eyeball, has always worked the best. You know, when people can just see you and ask you a question, and that's always worked for my printing business. Ironically, for my drafting business, I have customers all over the United States, and I don't have hardly any of them in Texas. My biggest lion's share of work comes from East Coast, West Coast. And my first biggest customer, you know, when I first started that business, I told the dude, he had a real bad taste in his mouth, and I said, look, he was worried about money. And I said, listen, I'll do this job for you for free. I want you to see my work. That's, you know, let's just give me something. Just give me anything to draw, and I'll show you what I can do, and we can go from there. You know? And so I offered to do that job for him for free. And he says, all right, I'll let you do this job for me for free. And I was like, perfect. He ended up paying me more than I was actually going to start soliciting. Like, he set my rate moving forward. He was like, he paid me so much. He was like, oh, you know, so I was like, wow, that was cool. But I have a burning question it's really kind of been affecting me here over the last several years. And let's see here. We were in 2023. I quit my last corporate job in 2006. Been full-time, you know, entrepreneur ever since. A lot of 80-hour weeks. 1 year I worked every single day. 365 days that year I worked every single day, and not just checking emails. I mean, actually worked. in 2018, a lot of things happened. I had some health issues, nothing serious, but things that just caused depression and whatnot. My son graduated, and he's my youngest son. So, and then I had this horrible thing with a partner. I mean, he hurt me bad.
Yeah.
I from there until now, I've not worked an 8-hour day since 2017, and so while that's good and bad, I have no passion like I used to have. I didn't need an alarm clock. I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, just jonesing to go to work. I loved it. I loved solving the problems. I loved making the process better. I loved everything about it. And then so there's three big pillars in my life in 2018: health, business partnerships, and my family, that just kind of just all hit me at the same time. I've actually been seeing a therapist about this for a little better than a year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been riding the shit out of my Harley a lot. And I'm like, it didn't really occur to me until probably about 3 months ago, probably about 3 months ago. I was about to buy my next Harley, and I'd realized I felt a little guilty because I haven't worked an 8-hour day forever. Sure. And it kind of hit me that, one, I'm really proud of the businesses that I built. They were resilient enough to get me through this weird phase of my life, sure. So that's a plus, right? Because you can't do that working 9 to 5.
That's right.
You try to go on a sabbatical and forget about it. But so I guess really, this group of guys here, it seems like y'all, you got some fire left in you, in your eyes. I'm like, I'm kind of thinking everything in my life, you know what I mean? And, I'll never get rid of my businesses. I mean, it's like, who's going to turn away money, right? But it's like, I don't have that passion to, like, I lay in bed in the morning sometimes. I'm like, is there, I can't even really, the only thing that I can really say is that those three big pillars all happening at the same time at this part of my life left this huge vacuum in my life, right? So, but I guess my burning question here is like, have any of y'all got burnt out with the businesses that you're doing, and what'd you do to get past it?
Hey, real quick, I'm going to jump in, Jason. I'm kind of in the same position right now, man. I'm feeling that funk that you're feeling. I spent 3 years building my business, only to have my broker go out of business and go bankrupt. So I literally had $2 million worth of business shelved, and so I had to restart like completely from scratch. And it's been tough, man. But I feel that same way, where it's like, where was that 12-hour day? Where was that 16-hour day that I had before? Because now, like you said, man, I'm having trouble getting up, and once I get started, I'm good to go. But I'm feeling that. So I'm interested to see what anybody else has to say, because I'm there with you, man.
Yeah. Does anybody want to jump in there? I've got something I can offer up. Definitely.
I mean, I completely feel what you've been through. I mean, you're gonna have ups and downs. I mean, very recently, I mean, you're gonna have bad partners. You're gonna have people are gonna let you down, and it is what it is. How I guess I've recovered different ways. One, I've just always try to remember my why, like why I'm doing it this way, why I'm in why I'm doing those things. I mean, that helps. Having, but not just one, have a lot, right? We all have our family, but have your own personal goals, or whatever can drive you, whatever that is. And maybe it's a short-term goal, maybe it's a long-term goal, whatever, but just have that, and maybe visually have it, like if you want to buy something. I mean, you can't, can you see it? I don't know, but right here I've got pictures of vacation places I want to take my family, vacation places I want to just go with me and my wife, vacation, truck that I want, so that when I get a bad phone call, sometimes I just turn it around and, okay, there's something, and I'm always getting, like, my daughter was right here right now messing with me. So there's always a why. And those guys are never gonna, they're always gonna be there for you. Right. But that's the one thing. And then there's a lot of other things, but just, I remember it, it's never going to stay like that. You know, change is always going to change, right? There's always going to be changes. It's just a temporary setback. You know, what always helps me is going out and helping somebody else, a client or just somebody in my network, and for no reason at all. Sometimes just service, helping somebody out in a jam or something on that day. You know, okay, well, I had a setback. Well, let me go try to help somebody else. And usually just feeling good about solving a problem for somebody else or you know, a client, customer, friend, whatever. I mean, that really helps refresh me, you know, and say, okay, let's get back at it and go tackle the problem or just move on. You know, that's kind of how I kind of attack those downs, because you get there. You know, I have really bad months and stuff like that, and things just aren't going right, and they compound, and you feel it, right? You feel it, and you think nobody understands you and those kind of things. But at the end of the day, you got into this, you know, you're going to carry the load, but you're going to get the wins too, right? You know, you got to carry the load.
Hey, Jason,
that's really good. Thank you.
Yeah.
If I can jump in there too.
Yeah.
You know, I feel the same way. And I heard a talk the other day that helped a lot, and I don't want to get religious with you guys, but
feel free.
I don't know all of you guys that well, or you know, barely met you tonight, but I'm just gonna throw the scripture out there. You guys can read it on your own. Proverbs 17, chapter 17, verse 17. And it talked a little bit of the talk in there, because I mean, Jason, what you went through is pretty difficult. And then on top of that, you throw a worldwide pandemic that turned the whole world upside down. You know, I think as humans, we're not designed to handle something like that. And somehow we all made it through it. You know, unfortunately, a lot of people didn't make it through it, you know, but nonetheless, if you think about how you used to cope with problems before that, is a lot different than how you cope with them now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just everything changed, you know, everything changed. So, but anyway, look at that scripture, and you know, that's one of the things that's helped me out is the people that I surround myself with. You know, I won't give the scripture away. You guys can read it, but you know, we all go through that. You know, I'm going to be vulnerable here. Part of when I started, I mean, in 2020, I started a roofing company, you know, and recently I filed for bankruptcy on it because I didn't have that drive that I had when I was younger, you know, but then I started real estate. So that took my focus because I was really enjoying that. You know, my attention was divided. And then so here I am now. Real estate isn't going that great. So I have to get back into remodeling. So I'm trying to build two businesses at the same time. And I was like, okay, which one do I give more focus to? You know, because I need this one to provide some income to build this one up, but I don't want to drop this one, because if I do, I'm going to have to start from scratch again when I have to do it again, you know. So, I mean, it's just challenges, and every day we got to get up and do it. You know, families depend on us as entrepreneurs. Some of us have employees that work for us, and you know, those are kids that we have to feed as well. You know, not just our kids, but you know, that's the way I see it. Hey, that family is one of my kids. That family is another one of my kids. You know, so we have to do it every day. You know, get up and do it. But that's what's helped me out. You know, read that scripture. That's one of the things. You know, the people you surround yourself with is definitely gonna help a lot. But we all go through that, and that's part of why I jumped on this call. You know, just to talk to other guys that are in the same, or I didn't know we were all in the same situation, but you know, like-minded people that are probably going through these problems. You know, because in my family, I'm pretty much the only entrepreneur, I guess you could say. You know, my brothers work with me, but I feel like if I didn't go out and do it, they wouldn't have done it. So, you know, so I feel like you know, sometimes I feel like they don't understand what I'm thinking, you know, hey, where's this going, and what am I going to do with this? And you know, sometimes you feel a little alone out there, but.
And they don't. I mean, if they're got 9 to 5s or corporate, or they're running for retirement and pensions. I mean, they don't get it. I mean, I
Yeah.
know the holidays are coming up, Thanksgiving and all that. I'm gonna hear stuff, you know. They're gonna be like, "Well, how's it going out there?" You know, they're looking to poke holes, right? Like,
Yeah,
With your little
I wanna hear
business.
about I'm almost gonna retire. Well, okay, good for you. Good for you. Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
But again, that's why I'm here also, is because I know there's a lot of us out there.
Yeah.
A lot of us out there. And this kind of helps. It gets the juices flowing, right? Because you pull energy from each other when you need it, right?
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you, Elias. So Jason, in December, I turned 50. And when I turned 50, I was gung-ho. I had, last year I had the best year I had in solar. It was amazing. I made more money than some people make full-time doing regular jobs, man. And I did that as a side hustle, side hustle. I helped Redbird Realty in my role as a vice president get to where we are full-time. And I did solar part-time, but man, I had this vision board, right? And I had this vision board up there and I had all these things on it, right? Because I was trying to work on my mindset a little bit. And I had been to some trainings and some conferences, and I had this vision board in my room, and I had this squeak board. I call it squeak board, but the one dry erase board, right? Like right next to my bed. Like literally when I would turn and look, it would be like right there laying on against the wall. That's how focused I was, right? On some things and business ventures and solar and all these things, right? And I hit 50 and at the end of the middle of December. And then I kid y'all not, everybody on the call, I hit a brick wall. And I had never ever experienced anything like that. And I was down and out for in a few days, quite a few days. And my wife helped me, and I pushed through that, and I got through to the other side. And Elias, I will tell you that, for me, I had a couple sleepless nights, and I had never experienced that. And my wife said, why don't you try reading? Man, I tried everything. I tried music. I tried sensory music. I tried all this crap, right? And then I opened the book, and it was the Bible, and I went right to a verse in there, and it talked about putting on the full armor of God, and that gave me comfort. I slept for a few hours, got up again, read some more, slept. That helped me pull out of that. And from that, Jason, I'll tell you, and those of y'all on the call or watching this later on a rewind or something, from that, I transitioned into, before I go to sleep, I no longer watch TV. Before I go to sleep, I no longer stare at my phone or social media. When I wake up, so the last thing I do is I read something, positivity. Typically it's something in the Bible or something, or something on mindset. And then when I wake up in the morning, that is the first thing I do as well. I used to pull my phone right off of the nightstand. It's not even on my nightstand anymore. I keep it way across the room on the charger. And so those things for me helped me get my mindset pushed through that and beyond that. And I've been doing that since January of this year. And so, I end my night on that, and I start my morning on that first thing. And then I move into slowly starting my business day. And it took me about a month, honestly, about a month or so. And then I went back and I looked at my vision board and that other goal board, right, that I had. And I said, this shit's all wrong. Like I had it all wrong. Like all the things that, no wonder I hit a brick wall. Like I had all the wrong stuff on there. At the end of the day, the money will come, the cool things will come, but let's live life. Like we just went through COVID. Like we just went through all this other crap, right? Like what can we do to help each other? right? Man, there was people who were alone, living alone during COVID, that had nobody they could talk to. You know what I mean? Like shut-ins, and so many things. So, the mental status is huge, right? I feel, my observation from me to you is that you've replaced, and it's just an observation, bro, you've replaced your passion and your love for the business creativity. I'm not saying you don't have it anymore, but you've replaced it with a passion in writing, in your writing, in getting out and just feeling the wind and the motor, and it's just you and your thoughts, and you're loving it. Because I lived it all my life. I mean, I remember riding on the back of my dad's Harley as a kid, holding on to fishing poles as we're going to go fishing, so it's in my blood too. I know it, right? So I feel like you may have hit somewhat of a wall because you went through some things, right? And then now you've replaced that love and passion with writing, and there's nothing wrong with that,
except for it doesn't pay very well.
It doesn't pay well. It doesn't pay well unless you're, and then, so what I've done is I've changed my morning and my evening routines. I started there, and then when the time came, I added in my physical routine. So now every morning I exercise, and I'm not the healthiest or the biggest dude or anything like that by any means, but it has helped my psyche. It has helped me get my day rolling and then get my bearings straightened out on my focus. And after a month or so, I went and I looked at that, like I told y'all, the vision board, and I turned it upside down because I had all that shit wrong. We're in October and I still haven't done a new vision board. I'm ashamed to say I haven't created a new one, but right now I'm working on my mindset still. I'm still working on my mindset. And even though I've got a couple, coaching clients and they're doing very well and that kind of stuff, we're all human, man. We're all human. The best of the best in the world have struggles. Like the best of the best reach a point where they need somebody above them, somebody else they can tap into. So that's just my 2 cents, man. I mean, it could be nothing. It could be on. I don't know. But for me, that's what I've done, Jason. And it's helped me,
Yeah,
well, what's frustrating for me is one of the things that's frustrating is like exercise.
Yeah.
I'm a big data nerd. I'm a big data geek. I like digging into numbers and seeing what makes, historically speaking, in this 44 years I've been on this planet, in cycles of time when I'm exercising, it's always the best mentally productive that I've ever been is whenever I'm exercising. It's like I personally know this is better for me.
Yeah.
But I can't drag my ass to do it. And that's sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah.
I
What do
didn't
you have
mean to interrupt you, buddy.
What do you have for accountability? Like, is there anything that, like a group or anything like that?
No, and I think part of that vacuum I was talking about is added to this problem. Before, everybody that has relied on me throughout my life, they're all self-sufficient now. And so it's the big joke whenever your kids graduate, you're empty nesters, I was gonna go party and all this shit. It's just like, I was like, now what?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't, one of the things that I'll say in my life that I'm happy about is that at this point in my life, money makes, or dollars, income, money, that, like that, it plays a very, very small role in my decision making. Whereas before, when I first started my business, I'm like, I'm going to make these millions of dollars and I'm going to be, all this shit. And I've made a lot of money, but it's so irrelevant to what I do now. And I'm happy about that.
Right.
To some degree. I mean, like I said, I still got to eat, but I'm just saying, like, that's a win. You know what I mean? Like, my mindset is, as far as value goes, I'm very happy with the things that I hold valuable. you know, and
Yeah.
it's not shit. It's not, you know, I like to have nice things, don't get me
Sure.
wrong, but it's not what drives my decision making,
Sure.
you know. So, but to sum that up, no, I don't have an accountability.
Well,
I don't have an
Gabe,
accountability structure.
Gabe put it here in the Gabe put it there in the message. He said that is this group.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, kind of going off of what everyone has said, for sure. You know, just kind of give a little background about who we are. One thing that my wife and I are very open about is the fact that we are in recovery. I'm actually going on 7 years sober. My wife has celebrated 6 years clean and sober a couple months ago. But one thing that we have learned is that you know, with our recovery, recovery is a lifestyle, and we've learned that you know, for our situation and our disease, it is a form of a spiritual malady, because one thing that we've learned is that, you know, you can't fix the shit in your head with the shit in your head. So, you know, with us, that's why we've definitely, you know, they always encourage you to get a sponsor, but, you know, we've actually been able to take that a step further. Not only do we have sponsors, but we have business mentors, spiritual mentors, personal mentors, you know, and then you know, just people to hold us accountable. And if we do have that situation where we're feeling irritable, you know, discontent, or you know, something, we have people that we can turn to and just kind of talk about, you know. And the only way I can relate this is just from my specific situation. You know, if you know, as me as a you know, as an alcoholic, I can't. It's hard to go to a what we call a normie and talk to them like, hey, you know, the sun could be shining, it could be a great day, but I just feel this fear of impending doom. You know, if I talk to a normal person, they're just gonna be like, man, dude, that's weird. But if I talk to another alcoholic, they're gonna be like, dude, I felt that same way just the other day. Let me tell you how I got through it. You know, so it's about just having, you know, people that you can relate to, that have been through there, that can guide you, that can give you their experience of what helped, and you know, who've been there where you've been. And I definitely think that this is what this group is for. You know, everybody has all these different experiences and that they've been through, and I definitely am really happy to be a part of this group to lean on you know, people like y'all with different experiences, successful entrepreneurs, business people, you know, business like mindsets. So you know, and that's just from, you know, my point of view, my experience and my situation. What I have seen has helped us with our specific situation. So
very cool. Thank you,
for
Alex.
sharing. I'd say for me, I have a group that I meet with Wednesday nights. It's a men's ministry. We go over, like, you know, what it is to pursue biblical manhood. And you know, everybody's got their shortcomings. You can't always confide in your wife, and some of the guys in the group, like, they don't have wives, they've never even had a girlfriend or anything like that. So we're, you know, going over scripture and stuff like that with each other, and then breaking up into our age groups to kind of you know, lean on each other. You know, we kind of think of it, if you know, look back to like the Spartans, you know, like they were good because they had that phalanx, that wall of shields. You know, I think for men, you always got to have your shield up. It's never safe to take it down unless you got a group of men around you who got theirs up. Then you can take a knee if you have to. And so that's been beneficial to me, just mentally, because, you know, some of you guys know we've spoken you know, in person, but you know, this last 2 years for my family's been, you know, an ass kicker. Like, we lost my son to suicide a couple of years ago. My wife, my stepdaughter, and I, we moved all the way here to Texas from New Hampshire. I took a job here, lost it almost immediately because it went out of business. Started my own business, and then my intestines blew up. And now I'm, you know, my wife is carrying the financial load in our house, and there's a lot of stress on her. There's stress on me because I'm not fulfilling my role as a man. You know, it's so there's having that group of men that I could be with is, that, you know, I could lean on. Plus, they can be like, you know, toughen up, let's go. You know, it's that's been good for accountability, but also, you know, when you got to take that knee, like, it's safe to do it there. You know, what happens in that group stays in that group. You know, so it's, you know, got to worry about anyone blowing it up online or anything like that, or gossiping. It's that's been really beneficial for me anyway.
Very cool. Thank you, Patrick. Anybody else got anything? Jason, man, I hope some of that, you know, helps you out, brother. Like, you know, in all honesty, guys, like I said, this group, I really didn't have like a straight like intention of this is what it's going to be, like, you know, A, B, C, and this is an outline and this is a that. Like, you know, I've been a part of masterminds in the past and in other business ventures that I've had. And I was a member of those mastermind groups, and I found a lot of benefit from it, you know, and I was able to grow and network, right? Because we're all networking. I mean, all of us, you know, have different businesses and different backgrounds and different things we're able to provide and offer up. And, you know, I think that I saw a lot of benefit from that. So, you know, I wanted to introduce that and bring this on. And like I said, I know everybody here on the call, right? I mean, I know everybody, and it's cool to see all these different backgrounds together. So I hope that you know, y'all find some value from it and can connect. You know, ultimately, you know, my new business venture is Leveraged, right? Leveraged Nation, and the idea behind Leveraged is the opportunity that we leverage either each other, or we leverage an opportunity, or you're either getting leveraged or you leverage, right? At the end of the day, as long as it's mutual, there's nobody taking advantage of each other. So here we're leveraging each other because of our knowledge, because of our experience, because of our trials and tribulations. And hopefully each of us can walk away with some value. I've taken some notes, man, because you guys have dropped a lot of value tonight, you know. Yes, there you go. You know, my good buddy Daniel Gomez always says, you know, when you write things down, something magical happens and you retain it, you know, more so. And we're able to go back to it and look at it and see it, you know.
Get his book if you don't have it.
Yeah.
Sure.
He wrote a couple of great books, man. He's been very influential in my life, you know, with my mindset. We've been friends too many years. Anybody else have anything else? Anything else? Questions, burning questions, something you want to offer up? You know, if y'all like this group, if it makes sense, we can do it again next week, same day, same time, same bat time. And, you know, like I said, I'm going to add each of you to the group, the Facebook group. It's a private group. So I'll add y'all there, and we can also communicate there and connect there if you need to, you know, message each other if you like, and exchange information, and, you know, be a support to one another.
No, I'll just say I appreciate it. Yeah, though, this is exactly, this is something that I needed. I'm glad you started it. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody and getting to know everybody more, or for once. Yeah, and if we've got that private group, let's all connect, get our information through the group, and so literally we're on everybody's phone, and I've got everybody's info, and
yeah.
And let's just let's carry, you know, I think of you know, when the SEALs are training and they're in that water going through their hell week, you know, they're carrying those boats all together, even though they're all tired, but they're helping each other. When somebody's starting to go out, they pick them up with their energy, their voice, because they're all carrying that boat, right? They're all carrying the ship in the middle of the, you know, on the beach, right? So let's be kind of like that, you know. We can put a picture, let's help each other out, right?
Yeah, good stuff. I love that analogy, Philip. All right, anything else, anybody? Well,
This
if
was
not,
thank
I'm
you
sorry.
so much.
Yeah.
No, I said this was great. The synergy, the conversations, the knowledge, everything. Just seeing that other, you know, Jason stepping up and being vulnerable there, and just, you know, really opening me up in the meeting to because I feel it, and you know, you always feel like you're the only one going through things.
That's right. That's right.
It was good. This was good. I appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, everybody. Well, if not, then if y'all got nothing else, then we'll shut it down, man. With about an hour and a half on here, and I had no time limit or anything like that by any means, because at the end of the day, we'll just go with the flow. Like I said, I didn't have anything scripted per se. It's just an opportunity to mastermind with each other. And it went the way it was supposed to. It went down the direction it was. And if y'all ever need anything, guys, you have my number, or you know how to reach out to me in Messenger, and reach out to one another, and let's connect, and let's just keep this ball rolling, man. I think that it's a good group here, and we can be a support to each other, in many different ways.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it, man. Y'all have a good night.
All right, everybody.
Good night, guys. See you later.
Have a good night.
All right, go Phillies.